everybody. Welcome to day 2 of week 2, which is kind of cool because it's April 22nd. Lots of 2's in there. So this is going to be really quick, I promise. It'll be Wednesday, April 22nd. Please don't forget everything I was sharing with you yesterday about being really neat, making sure you check in and turn your work in every day. Most of you are doing a fantastic job with that, and I appreciate it so much. Thank you for the check-ins, and thank you for sending your work to me. And then if something is wrong, I can send it back to you and we can get it fixed, and hopefully you can understand what we're doing and not get behind. For reading today, yesterday you were supposed to read the story. I don't have any proof that you did that, but I'm hoping that you do. If you did forget, make sure you get that story read at least 2 times before you take your AR quiz on Friday, okay? Today you're going to read Emma and Liberty, which is just a 1-page story in the book. It's on page, it's on page 373. And you're going to use the Notes app or the Show Me app. We talked about that yesterday. And you're going to type your words in the app. Or you can write it, but it has to be extremely neat, please, so that I can make sure that I can read it, okay? You're going to write the definitions for all of the highlighted words that are on that page. That is going to be your reading. So pretty easy, a little bit to read, and then writing those definitions that you need to look up in the back of your reading book. I don't have your reading book because I know you guys all know how to do that. Look them up in the back of the book and write those definitions for me. Type them up or write them extremely neatly. Then for language arts, it's a kind of a continuation of our reading activity. You're going to use those words in complete sentences. So you're going to write a little bit in language arts today. And incomplete sentences has to make sense, and it has to have a capital and a period, okay? Now, don't forget, make these sentences good sentences. You guys are pretty darn close to 4th graders. So make them 4th grade sentences. You want to make sure that they tell me in the sentence that you know what the word means, okay? So give me a little bit of meat in that sentence. Make it a really good one, okay? A really good sentence that helps me know you know what the vocab means, okay? And then math. This is a tiny little mini lesson because we didn't do one yesterday because I had a lot of stuff to tell you, so I didn't do a little math lesson. But we're talking about equivalent fractions this week. And of course, equivalent, part of the word has, remember that's a good strategy is to always look for word parts that we know. Equivalent, of course, sounds like equal, which is what they are. Equivalent fractions are equal, okay? Now, I used Greg and I. All right, we went, and my circles are not perfect because I did it really quickly. But if we went to Pizza Hut and got 2 personal pan pizzas, and Greg said, you know what, just cut mine into 2 pieces. Okay, so they cut Greg's into 2 pieces. He ate 1 piece, so he ate 1/2 of his pizza. He only ate 1 piece of pizza. Well, I wasn't saying do something like that. I said just cut it like normal. Well, when they cut a personal pan pizza, normally they cut it into 4 pieces. And then I ate 2 pieces of it. So my pizza, which was the same size as Greg's, I ate 2 pieces of it. Well, I ate 2/4 of my pizza. But guess what? We both ate the same amount. We both ate half of our pizza. Okay? So the reason that we're talking about this pizza here is because we're talking about equal parts. So even though you may think, oh, they're not the same, well, if you look at the picture, they are. Now, yesterday's was a little confusing, I know, because they didn't put all the parts lined up together. So sometimes you might have to kind of think about moving them over to kind of see. If I had 1 piece here and 1 piece here, it would be a little harder to see that it was a half. But instead, I wanted to make it a little easier, so I put them on the same side, okay? You have another worksheet today that I sent you in the email. Same thing as you did yesterday. Take that screenshot, send that back to me, and you're going to practice some more with equivalent fractions. Now, one thing I do have to point out with the math, because I had a couple people do this yesterday, you got to read the directions, always. So if they tell you to fill in the answer and then draw a line to the matching or equivalent fraction, you got to do both things, okay? So make sure you're looking carefully. Oh, and let me remind you about last week. You had to do the number line and then you had to do the number bond. So a lot of times they have different things for you to do. So make sure you're reading the directions, okay? So you're going to do your worksheet on equivalent fractions. And then, of course, you're going to do IXL, X1, okay? Almost everybody has everything done from last week. So don't forget, you don't want to get behind. Get it done today so that you can have everything done on time and you won't have to catch anything up later, okay? So let's review really quickly. Yesterday, you were supposed to read the whole story. If you didn't get that done, read it again today. Make sure you've got that story read because you got to have it read twice in 4 days, okay? But then today, you're going to read just that little tiny section, that one little page that has your highlighted vocabulary words on page 373. And on page 373, find those highlighted words and write the definitions, which of course are at the back of the book. Then for language arts, our writing and our word work and our phonics, all that fun stuff, you're going to have to use those vocabulary words in a sentence, a complete sentence. No excuses, almost fourth graders, capitals, periods. Complete sentence that tells me you know what the word means. Then, of course, to math, we're doing equivalent fractions. And we are thinking about fractions that are the same. There might be more pieces, like Mrs. Ault ate 2 pieces of her pizza, but I still only ate half of the whole thing. He ate half of his, but he just ate 1 piece. Now, of course, we could keep going, and I could have cut my pizza into 8s. And those of you that are already thinking ahead, if I had 8 pieces of pizza and I ate half, I ate 4 pieces, which sounds like a lot, but it's still only half the pizza. Okay? So equivalent fractions. And Greg and I both ate the same amount because they're equivalent. So after you do those definitions and sentences, you're going to do the worksheet and the IXL. Now remember, I can check IXL online. So you can't say you did it and then when I check say, oh no, I did it. It shows up in my teacher account. So I know if you did the IXL. And I'm going to bug you. So make sure you do your IXL. And then you're going to send me this and you're going to send me that. Okay? And your worksheet. So you got 3 things to send me on Wednesdays. Vocab, definitions, vocab definitions is 1, sentences, and then your math, okay? And math is a pretty easy worksheet today. Yesterday you had 2, today you only have 1, and then your IXL, okay? Remember to do your work, send it to me. Check in too. Check in first thing, let me know you're working, and then send me your completed work, and then I'll check it tomorrow night. Tonight, because this is the 22nd, and I'll let you know how you did, and then we'll start all over the next day. Glad to see you guys. Have a great, wonderful day. Oh, and it's Earth Day too, which is kind of cool. Do something outside. Bye, guys.